Dimuli. Now, the recent crackdown on civil society groups seem to be critical of the government by the NGO Coordination Board continues to raise eyebrows. 2 days ago, the Fazul Mohammed-led board banned the operations of two lobby groups, namely Kurayangu Sauti Yangu and We the People, accusing them of allegedly receiving some 36 million shillings from the George Soros Foundation. The NGO Coordination Board directed the two to immediately stop all political operations and election-related programs. Now, in August, only 2 months earlier, the same NGO board attempted to shut down two other NGOs, that's the Kenya Human Rights Commission and African Center for Open Governance, AFRICOG. That directive was, however, suspended by the state for 90 days. How objective is the NGO Coordination Board? Why does it seem to act only during the electioneering period? Is what the NGO Board doing part of its mandate? This morning on Cheche, we have Samuel Githinji, chairperson of the National Council of NGOs, a self-regulating, non-partisan body comprising all registered NGOs in Kenya. We also do have our regular panelists, Mutegi Njau and Charles Odhiambo. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome. Let's start with you, Bwana Samuel Githinji. What exactly is the NGO, National NGO Council? Because there are so many boards when we talk about NGOs in Kenya, we do not really understand which one is which. Let's start. What is the National NGO Council?
Thank you, Dimuri. The National Council of NGOs is a statutory body created by the Act of Parliament. That is Section 23 of NGO Coordination Board Act. And it is a self-regulating body. This means when the government registers an NGO through the NGO Board, then there is that body of the NGO Council, where all the NGOs come together. Then they form the council. Now the council, they meet and the General Assembly and elect their officials to operate. And
what's the main mandate of the council?
It is mainly, we say, the self-regulating. It is like NAT. If I can give an example, is a TSE and NAT. You know, NAT is for the members, whereas the TSE is the government. That's how we are. So we personally, we talk of ourselves, and we are finding it hard somehow when it comes to the government, when the government is, through the NGO Board.
But the NGO Coordination Board Act that you mentioned, that's through which the National Council of NGOs was established, is the same one that has established the NGO Coordination Board, led by Fazul Mohammed. Is it right?
Yes, it is the same act.
It's the same act.
And it talks of the NGO Coordination Board and the board and the council. Okay. The whole act is mainly for two bodies.
So these two bodies work hand in hand, the National NGO Council and the National NGO Coordination Board, they work hand in hand?
Definitely, yes, because if you look at the composition of the board, the composition of the board is in Section 4 of the Act, and part of it, when we look at I, because there are many chairmen of the appointed by the president, but when it comes to subsection I, 7 members appointed by the minister on the recommendation of the council to represent the diverse areas of non-governmental organizations' interest within the board. K says the chairman of the council. These are the members, the composition of the board. Forget about those others that are appointed by the minister, the government, blah, blah, blah. But mainly the 7 members from the council, where I am.
Okay. So you are also a member of the board?
I ought to.
What do you mean ought?
I ought to be. Whereas I'm not.
Why?
Just because of one reason or the other, the government, I cannot appoint myself.
But you're appointed by the law.
The law appoints you.
The law appoints you to go to the board.
Yes, the law is there.
Being the chairman of the council.
Yes.
It is a requirement that if you are not there, then it means the council is invalid.
That's right. That's right. Or the council is valid, whereas the board, the composition of the board,
that's what I'm talking about.
Does the council have any representation on that board?
Currently, no.
At all?
At all.
Okay.
What you're referring to is the National Coordination Board Act, right?
Yes.
How is this related to the PBO Act? the Public Benefits Authority Act of 2013. What is the relationship?
The relationship between the PBO Act is an act like the NGO Coordination Act. It was to do away with the act, with this Coordination Act. It was revised in 2013, whereas this was made in 1991, 1990 I mean, and revised in 2012. So that one has, more.
So that is the legal act?
No.
Because it has replaced this one?
No, it has not.
Why?
This is the legal one.
Yes.
Because that one has not been put into operation.
Okay.
Has it been enacted?
No.
Why not?
Well, the government, in one reason or the other, has not done it.
There was a court directive as late as May this year for the Act, the Public Benefit Organizations Act of 2013, to be operationalized within 30 days. That was May.
Yes.
This is October. This is November, actually. Are you saying that the government is in contempt by failing to operationalize that law?
In fact, it is not May this year. It was May last year. Not this year. It was May last year. And the order was directed to the Minister of Devolution, where the NGOs were based to the planning in the Minister of Devolution. Immediately after that court order, we were moved now to the Minister of Interior. The order is now directing the Ministry of Devolution to implement. Whereas now we have gone to the Minister of Interior. So now somebody will go back to court and say now to change and direct it to the Ministry of Interior.
Okay, back to current matters. You've seen what is happening to the NGOs, the letter written by Fazul Mohammed to Kura Yangu, Sauti Yangu, and We the People on Monday this week, accusing them of allegedly receiving some money from George Soros Foundation and directing the two to immediately stop all political operations and election-related programs. What is the council's stand on this action?
Well, it is a very hard situation. One, I have told you that we have to be the board. When the board is taking such a act, we need to be there to say, to put our voice, because they are our members. There is something wrong. Kura Yangu, Sauti Yangu, and to start with, let me first of all read. This is the functions of them. Yes. When you look at the functions of the board, or rather section 23, let me also refer you to section 23 first. Section 23 of the Act says, there shall be established a council to be known as the Non-Government Organization Council, which shall as corrective forum for all non-governmental organizations registered under this Act. That is to say, the Kura Yangu, Sauti Yangu ought to have to be one of my members.
It is not?
By being one of my members, I need to have their report in the office. I need to have their credentials. I need to know what they are doing. I need to know where they are operating from. I need to know how much they are getting from who. Do you see? But now, just because of one reason or the other that is happening within us, which is actually a creation of confusion within the NGO fraternity.
I'm sorry, Mr. Githinji, but I think the way you are talking here, it looks like absolutely toothless. The council is non-functional, it is toothless, it is useless.
Yes.
Is that so? Is that what we're saying?
Not this is what I'm saying, but I'm saying this.
If fellows are going to register themselves as NGOs, Kura Yangu, Sauti Yangu, We the People, and you do not know anything about them, then what are you?
Let me answer you. Let me answer you for you to understand. The act, or any group that is created through the Act, you cannot manage yourself like Mama Mboga at home. Wake up one morning and say, I want to do this, because you'll be held liable. If somebody is put there to put things in order, on your behalf and is blocking you there. How do you expect it to move?
How about umbrella organizations where a number of 2, 3, 4 NGOs come together and form an umbrella to push for certain, maybe the NGOs are already registered under your council,
yes,
but they form an umbrella for a certain objective. Does it mean that even this umbrella body has to come back and register fresh?
No, not really.
Because my understanding is some of these umbrella groups are formed by your members. Yes? Some NGOs that are already registered under your council are the ones that come together and form Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu and we the people to push for a certain agenda.
Actually,
are you saying you do not understand?
Sauti Yangu is not an NGO. It's a collection of NGOs with common interests.
It's an umbrella.
So why would you want them to come and register with you or present their reports to you?
Fine. There is nowhere the forums are given, a mandate to register.
Yes.
Mutegi is an NGO, Gedenji is an NGO, my friend here is an NGO. So if we come together and do one thing, and we have registered, we are not required to register once again.
So is something wrong within the membership of your council? As in the members, some of them are running amok, doing illegal things?
Something is actually wrong.
Something is wrong.
Wrong.
And you are the chairman of the council.
For the time being.
And you can't do anything about it.
I cannot do anything about it.
So your council, like Mutegi said, is useless and toothless.
Truly, I can agree with you what you're saying because it is made to be.
Okay.
It is made to be. One,
made by
Mr.
Who has made it that way?
Now, through the whole of this act, we are not given mandate to implement, or to do something, or to accuse, or even to prosecute, or anything. It is me to write a letter to the government, or to the ministry concerned, through the NGO board, that so-and-so is doing 1, 2, 3, is violating 1, 2, 3. Then the NGO board now takes an action against that madam. But now, look here, Mr. Demuro, let me tell you something. You know, all over in the government, in every ministry, we used to say that the government is maybe the government is somebody who is in the authority. Whereas when it goes out that way, it is not that particular person. But somebody somewhere is working for the authority. If somebody somewhere is working for that authority and is obstructing and want to be covered, like now, look at the report that was in the newspaper yesterday. Somebody by the name of Sheboy telling Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu to go to honor the summons. To honor the summons. Even a typical fool can understand the situation that this is told to do it, or even he is looking for sympathy to become the chairperson.
But Agedenji, there seems to be a lot of confusion in the management of NGOs generally, from your council, from the NGO coordination board, from the government. Now, when it comes to your board, to your council, and you've mentioned rightly that a gentleman by the name Samuel Cheboy yesterday was quoted in the media, and the title he was given was a chairperson, National NGOs Council, which is the same title that you claim to have. Isn't that just more confusion? Who exactly is the chairman of this National NGO Council?
Well, I can say I'm the current chairperson. We have we may not talk much about the Cheboy because we have a court order. We have a hearing that is coming on 21st this month.
What's the dispute about?
It is a contempt for him calling himself the chairperson. In fact, there is a court order barring him, and the hearing is coming on 21st this month. To see, so we may not maybe talk much about.
Was he chairman at any point?
He has never been.
Okay.
You cannot argue in the matter.
Yes.
I realize, Banagidinji, that you mentioned a while ago that there is indeed confusion in the management of the NGO world, and you say it's because somebody somewhere is using this act to cause that confusion. Who is this?
Well, the government is the entire body, but we have Fazul, who is answerable, whom all the NGOs are answerable to him, to feed the government on the way. And that is what the Act says. That is the role of the board, the executive director and the chairperson, to give the directions of the NGO fraternity to the government.
So you're saying Fazul Mohammed is the one causing all this confusion?
I would say yes.
Yet,
I would say yes.
Yet, on one hand, you say he's the one causing the confusion. On the other hand, you say he's the only one person who's supposed to give leadership to the entire NGO world.
Yes. Yes. He is actually the one who is, because the act, that is section 7, and the subsection D, it says, the functions of the board shall be to advise the government on the activities of the non-government organization and their role in development within Kenya.
Now, Mr. Githinji, this act says you are supposed to be there representing NGOs, 7 members of it. So without you there, how can the board be valid?
It's not valid. But now,
so what have you done about it?
We have questioned, we have written, but you cannot just go and sit there and say, I'm the board, while the minister has not done it.
That's interesting. You say the last time a case was presented to court to force the government to implement the Public Benefits Authority Act was in May last year.
Yes.
You are an aggrieved stakeholder.
Yes.
How come you've not gone to court?
Well, it was filed by another person, an individual person, not the council.
No, as a chairman who should be in the board and who is not allowed to be in the board.
Well, we have a case now in court that is now coming up to compel the board, the ministry, to look into this matter. But you know, the matter of court is now goes slowly, and
isn't that also part of the problem that internal politics within the council has contributed to the fact that you're not even given a seat in the National Coordination Board?
That's a problem, because now you see now.
So the problem is with the council. Because if at all there was no politics within the council, internal politics, probably you'd have a seat in the National Coordination Board. Probably the NGOs would have a voice in that Fazul-led team.
Actually, the problem is not the council. The problem is the created to the council. The problem is created to the council to dismantle the council.
By who?
For sure. Let me say whoever is in the authority, and that means either the ministry or even the board. Now the problem now we are the current one. So there's problem that does not come is not for today. Remember Rogmanduri? Can somebody remember about Rogmanduri?
Yes.
This problem started by then. That is 2004. To date.
Wow.
It has never been eliminated.
Well,
we are inheriting that problem from then. Slowly.
Okay.
And now, when we are trying to say, like, the ministry, and you remember the issue of minor KI the other day, when that matter came, the minister, I mean the CS, Dr. Matiang'i, you saw him ordering for a committee to be formed. I ought to be one of them. In fact, I went to the Ministry of Interior. I found that the name, the National Council of NGOs, representing all the umbrella bodies, the umbrella body of all NGOs, is among the committee that Matiang'i was talking about. But when I went there, I was not among. No, even any other person representing the NGO Council. Now, do you know what will happen? When that matter will be discussed and that matter will be, finalized, Dr. Matiang'i will get a report. These are the members who sat. This is their findings. But the council was not there. But the name is there.
Isn't that contempt on the part of the government not to include the council? And don't you think that's something that's basis for you to go to court as a council to say that someone is in contravention of the act by failing to include you in that committee or on the board?
In fact, that is only the option.
But how come you've not done it?
I told you that we are pursuing it.
So do you have a case in court now?
The case that we're having now, that I'm telling you that is coming to, on 21st. There is, it is a part of it.
Okay. Well, you're watching Cheche. Time now for a break. When we come back, we'll look at the mandate of the National Coordination Board and whether or not Fazul Mohammed, the chairperson of that board, is actually following and being true to that mandate. That when we return.